If you're a homeowner in Ottawa or are planning to become one, I'm going to be sharing an update on the latest real estate market trends from February 2025. Make sure to stick around to the end of the video so you don't miss my market trends insight, which looks beyond the stats and gives you some insight on what to do if you're looking to buy or sell today. The first thing I like to talk about is the months of inventory. This is the number of months that it would take to sell all of the currently available properties on the market at the current rate of sales if no more houses were listed for sale. For the City of Ottawa, we have conflicting stats for the February months of inventory. Our real estate board uses stats compiled by the Canadian Real Estate Association, or CREA, and they recorded a months of inventory of 4.6 for February. But the data that I can pull through our stats program called Habitat shows us sitting at 2.8 months of inventory. So, what would they each mean and which is correct? Less than 4 months of inventory is considered a seller's market, characterized by more competition and potentially rising prices. A balanced market is when you have 4 to 6 months of inventory, and a buyer's market is when there are more than 6 months of inventory, which generally gives buyers the ability to negotiate prices and can see a downward pressure on prices when the market sits like this for a sustained period of time. Of course, additional listings come onto the market all the time, and sales don't stay steady. So the months of inventory shifts seasonally and is an important metric for how things are shifting in the market. The months of inventory typically drops off throughout the spring as sales pick up faster than the inventory can be added. And at 2.8 or 3, that makes sense. The Real Estate Board's monthly release, sitting at 4.6 months of inventory, would see us in a balanced market. But more importantly, it would mean that we saw an increase to what we saw in January and December timeframe, which was sitting in the mid threes. So I'll stand by my statement that their months of inventory just doesn't make sense. The months of inventory is calculated by looking at the number of listings, which sits at about 2,300, 2,400 right now, and was likely slightly lower than that in February, and then dividing it by the number of sales, which was approximately 730 for February. This gives us the MOI of approximately 3, and that aligns more with the stats from Habitat, which was 2.8 for February. The average sale price for all properties across the City of Ottawa in February 2025 was $681,000. This was up 1.4% from January, but virtually unchanged from last February. I like to break it down into the 3 major property types, since averaging all types of homes is not very helpful. The average price for detached homes across the city was $884,000. Freehold towns were sitting at $637,000, and condos averaged at $430,000 this last month. And remember that even these values are for the entire city, so the prices differ vastly depending on which area you're looking. So it's essential to talk to your trusted realtor about the specifics of the type of home you're looking for and the area that you're looking in. The next thing I'll mention is the list price to sale price ratio, which is a measure of how close the asking and selling prices are. Throughout February, the sale price to list price ratio was 99%. This is up just slightly from the 98% that it was sitting at since July of 2024. I'll say that the ratio has been sitting very steady throughout the last year and a half to almost 2 years. Like other metrics, the sale price to list price ratio can differ by property type and specific location. So speak to your trusted realtor to know what's going on, where you're shopping, or what you're selling. Now, you might be wondering how long it's taking for properties to sell. Well, it depends. If we look at all of the properties that sold in February, the average time on the market for those sales was 39 days. Those averages are different for the various types of properties, of course. Detached homes sat at about 37 days, which is very close to the average. Freehold towns saw an average of only 28 days on the market, while condominiums properties saw an average of 50. The average for all the properties in January was 51, which means that homes are selling more quickly in February than they did in January. I need to point out a few things about the days on market stats. First, these are averages and they're made up of all the sales. So you've got the places that sell within just a few days mixed with those that have been on the market for months. And second, with our new MLS system, this stat of days on market is for the current listing only. If a home is listed for 6 months, say, and it's canceled and it's relisted at a new price, but then it sells within 5 days, it's 5 days that will show up for the days on market stat for that property. Okay, if you're thinking about buying real estate in the near future, mortgage rates are sitting between about 3.89% and about 5% right now. Just this week, the Bank of Canada made another quarter point drop to the overnight lending rate, bringing it to 2.75%. The Bank of Canada rates affect prime rate and variable rate mortgages that the lenders set. If you're looking for a new mortgage at this point, the variable rates and fixed rates are really quite similar, which has not been the case for years. Your actual rate will depend on your unique situation and which lender you work with. So I would highly recommend speaking with a mortgage broker to discuss your options and have them check with the various lenders to see what solution will work best for you and your unique situation. In summary, when we look at February's market statistics, we see that things are fairly stable despite the chaos in the world these days. February has, in the past 5 years or so, been sort of the turning point of the spring market, where listings really start to come to the market and buyers start paying more attention. It was widely expected that this spring market was going to be quite active after our late fall, October, November, saw record sales and increased activity. However, there's so much uncertainty in the economy right now that a lot of buyers are just staying on the sidelines. My thoughts on all this: if you're a seller and you need to sell, it means that you need to present your home in its best light and price your home correctly right from the start. When inventory levels get high and buyers have choice, you need to be one of their favorites because average places just get overlooked and they get left behind. If you're a buyer who's serious about getting into the market, then the higher inventory levels will mean that there are homes being overlooked by other buyers, where the sellers still need to sell and they may be willing to negotiate a bit more. So the bottom line is that whether you're buying or selling, your situation is unique, and a general market update should be taken with a grain of salt. If you want a tailored market analysis for the home you own or the type of home you're looking to get into, please get in touch. I'll give you the straight goods so that you're informed to make the best decision for your unique situation. My contact details are in the link with this video. Otherwise, I'll be back next month with an updated report.